bang. Welcome, DFS Dads here. We are breaking down the Rocket Mortgage. It can be a very tough week because the quality of golfers are not the best. We have four of the top 20 golfers in the world here. I believe Webb Simpson, Mats, Patrick Reed, defending champ, Bryson DeChambeau, and Webb Simpson is here. So unlike last week, this is not a course specialist like a Pete Dye. This is a very easy course. We are at the Detroit Golf Club course. It's a par 72, playing at 7,300 yards, right under 7,400 yards. We've got some rain there right now, but that's going to be okay for the weekend. It's not going to rain, but it is going to be probably a little wet or soft conditions. Scoring is already going to be easy. It's only been played here twice. Bryson won last year, and then Nate Lashley won the year before. And with those 2 years, the cut line has been -4. So a couple key stats that you're gonna want to hone in on. Our birdies are better, par 5 scoring, strokes gained approach, obviously. What else do we like here? It's a POA greens. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this week. The 6K range is definitely really watered down. So we're going to try to stay away from that as much as possible because it's going to be hard to figure out who is going to pop off. We were doing some initial research, me and Dustin here, and it's pretty rough out there. There might be a few people that pop off in the model, but you look at their recent form and they're missing cut after missing cut. So with that being said, D Reed, how are you doing? You excited for this week? Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I like golf any week. As you can see, this last tournament with the 15-hole playoff or whatever it ended up being between Harris English and Hickok. It was great golf, and those are two guys that maybe aren't household names, but it's just fun to watch. So every week can be entertaining, and this will probably be another one, probably a little lower scoring. So lots of birdies, which is always fun. So I'm excited. I think we got some decent names in this field, like you said. So it's not just a total wash, and I think we'll see some good golf. I do like in the top range just to kick it off. I mean, obviously Bryson's going to be the odds-on favorite. No reason not to be. This is open fairways. He's a long hitter. Obviously, he's going to tend to favor him, and so I do like him. The price is a little rough, especially if you go there, then you get down in the 6K range, which kind of hit on where it gets a little shaky. So don't know on the exact build yet, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Bryson, and if I had to fade one, I'm going to fade our boy Zalatoris this week.
I'm right there with you with fading Zalatoris at 10K. Bryson, I would like to play, but I don't want to get in the 6K range. And so with that being said, I'm going to save $1,000 and move all the way down to our Masters champion, Hideki Mats. He rates out 6 in our model. He is just as good a player as Bryson. His putting is obviously hit or miss. He's 125th in the model in putting. So at 10-4, he has to fit every other metric, which he does. 6th in birdies or better gained, 2nd in opportunities gained, 13th in par 5 scoring, and 2nd in approach. So with all that being said, he's also a good off the tee player. Saving $1,000. I'm going to move on down to Matt's, our Masters champion. And that will allow me, I feel like, to not even think about the 6K range. Let's and like I said, I'm fading Zalatoris as well.
Yeah, his form hasn't been there, and his putting. I mean, he's perennially not a good putter, but it's been even worse lately. And so, I think I read a stat that the average strokes gained putting for the winners has been like 4.5, which is way above tour average. So generally, you got to putt well to win here, and he's not a good putter, and he's been putting even worse. So I don't want that.
Yeah, he's 21st on model for 10K. There's so much better value even right below in the 9K range that we're gonna get into. But a couple of the other stats that, like I said at the beginning, are very crucial. Birdies are better, opportunities gained, and he's barely breaking the top 50 in both of those stats for us in our model over at DFS Dad. So easy fade for us in this top range. Dustin, you want to kick us off in the 9K range? Who do you like, and where do you want to stay away from?
Yeah, I think Kokrak's going to be real popular this week, even at 9,500. Just great form coming in. Great, pops off in the model. He's number one for us. I know he missed the cut at the U.S. Open, but his first the week before. Really good putter, especially over his last 5 tournaments, gaining almost 4 strokes, and then just perennially great on approach. So you factor those 2 things in with being good off the tee, and you set yourself up for a lot of birdies here. So really like him. For me, I might start 2 9K guys and just skip the whole 10K. Neiman pops off. Really good golfer. I like Bubba, even though the dude wilted he fell apart. Poor dude. Like his head.
Did he bogey the last 5 holes? Was it?
Yeah, he went like +6.
Bogey or double one? I think he was 3 under heading into those last.
He was. So
and that's his tournament.
His game was metaphoric from the day before when his club head fell off, because that's what happened on that last 9.
Yeah.
But I might look at him coming back. He's just one of those guys that's really good off the tee, and can get decently hot with a putter, even though he's not a really good putter. But probably won't go there. But he intrigues me a little bit. Keegan Bradley is another one that kind of pops off. It's just hard to pay 9K for him because he can be so volatile. He can be really, really good, and he can be really, really bad. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with someone I don't want to play is Matthew Wolff, and he could be very tempting to play at 9,100 because he got second here last year. 2 weeks before at the U.S. Open, he got 15th, was looking good. So everybody was watching, especially if you don't play a lot of DFS or like follow golf super closely. You're like, man, that's a steal. I've watched him at the U.S. Open get 15th, gaining 8 strokes on the field. And then last week, he looked awful. He lost 6 strokes. But I think that's a good trap play, or trap to not play, is to fall into Matthew Wolff, who got second here last year. Also, Bubba, I'm fully out on Bubba. He's missed the cut. He's played here the last 2 years, but he's missed the cut both times. And Bubba, as you know, you should know, if it's a Bubba course, you want to play him like last week at the Travelers. Even though he fell apart at the end, there's a reason why you want to play Bubba at Bubba courses. This doesn't have a ton of history, just the last 2 years. He's played here. He's tried to make this a Bubba course, but he hasn't yet. So at 9,200, I'm going to be falling way away on Bubba and Matthew Wolff. I'm with Dustin on Kokrak. He's number 1 on our model. He looks good. He's playing good. The ownership is going to be interesting. His price, I don't mind it. Neiman as well. And that's kind of how I see this 9K range. I don't think we differ too much. I'm just really have my mindset on I don't want any part of Bubba or Matthew Wolff. I have no preference either way on Sanjay M. He's a hard guy for me to ever play. I just don't really know how to play him outside of playing him in cash, personally.
He's not with us tonight, but he's a Sanjay guy. But I'm with you there. He's intriguing, but I just don't think for his price this week.
Look, Kokrak is 1 in our model. Sanjay M is 61st. He literally opportunity gains. He's 87th. He's not the best putter, and his par 5s. He's not a great par 5 player. He's not creating amazing opportunities. He's someone
find a way sometimes to kind of get up there. But yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah. I love the 8K range though, and I'll let you start because I did the first 2. But 8K is a nice range, and it was, I think last week was a really great range. If you had built all around 8K guys, there's tons of value there. So might be kind of the same type of week this week.
What about boy Higo over at fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth in our model, playing great golf, rates out okay. But as price would say, Hoff Daddy is definitely the go-to at the 8K range. He's second on model, 8,800. Third in approach, second on birdies or better gained, and fourth in opportunities gained. He literally stands out in every key metrics that we like. He's also not a bad putter. He's right there, middle of the road putter. So you don't have to worry as much about the putter with Hoffman. He can be a little erratic, but at this type of tournament, like when you get in the 8K range, you might be wanting non-erratic, but you're gonna get it whenever the field isn't as deep as other weeks.
Yeah.
What about you, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Hoff Daddy guy. I mean, he had a couple tournaments that he didn't do great at, the Memorial and the U.S. Open. Travelers, he was kind of a little bit shaky, and it was mainly off the tee, which he's usually pretty good in. And then he putted crazy. So I think if he can find that off the tee, which should be a lot easier here, he's perennially great off the on approach, strokes gained approach. Over his last 20, he's gaining almost 3 strokes. So he's dialed in with the irons. His putter's been okay. So I think this is a good course for him. He's one of those streaky guys that can score in bunches. So love Hoffman. Homa intrigues me a lot. He has kind of been up and down, but he has the potential, and I just feel like, kind of maybe in a GPP, and his price, for the upside. Obviously played great at the Memorial, got 6th, but then back-to-back missed cuts, played terrible at the Travelers, lost strokes in pretty much everything. So for cash, I don't like him, but he intrigues me for a GPP just because we know, he can pop off any given week. Tringali and Grillo intrigue me as well. Just gotta dig in a little more and see if I like one over the other. Kind of the same type of player, and they're 100 difference. So I do have a Grillo pad, seems to call my name a lot, so we'll see what happens. Any love for Phil from you this week?
No, man. Phil's full out practicing for his match with Tom Brady. Some of the advertising or little podcasts that they've been on are pretty hilarious. Tom Brady, man, I want to not like the guy, but he's awesome. He's funny. So Gary Woodland, though, at 8th in our model,
I skipped over him.
he played terrible at the Memorial, but tournaments before that, he's in good form. His last time out, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he played really well, pretty decent, I believe, at the U.S. Open. He made the cut. He gained a stroke on the field.
I think that was the one he fell apart the last day, or
yeah. Well, he fell apart on around the green and putting, but mainly around the green. And this week is not really an around the green type of atmosphere because it's literally a birdie fest. So they're going to be firing at pins around the green. It's not going to be a huge factor this week. So I'm not as worried about that. So I like Woodland, but this 8K range, like you said, last week was very profitable. This week has a lot of potential as well. If you can't tell, we've gone over pretty much every golfer, and it seems like we like almost all of them.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to start us out here on the 7K range?
Yeah. I think Doc Redman's intriguing. He's played well here. I forget his tournament history, but I think he's played pretty decent. Rates out okay.
He got a 2nd and then a 21st.
Yeah, so pretty decent in the 7K. He hasn't been great off the tee over his last 24 rounds, which is kind of worrisome. But like we said a couple times, that this more wide open fairway, so not a big of a deal. He has a 9th and a 2nd over his last 5 tournaments, so he has the potential to pop too. So he intrigues me. Glover, I think, is going to be popular this week. Rates out really well. HV3 is always intriguing. For whatever reason, I just can't ever click his name. Seems like he can miss a cut just as easily as he can, finish in the top 20. So, Norn, another guy. You got a lot more guys in the 7K range here. Kazire is another guy that kind of pops off for me. But, this is the range that's going to make or break a lot of people, picking the correct guy in this 7K range, because there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of guys that have been playing pretty good, Stanley obviously didn't finish down the stretch, but you got him. You got Armour, who played pretty well first couple days. Kazire, who we mentioned. Munoz, Davis. So who do you like?
McNeely. He got an 8th here last year. He is $7,700. The last 2 weeks, he's got a 20th and then the 30th at the Travelers last week, gaining between 4 and 5 strokes. So his form is really good. He has a good tournament history. Granted, it's just 1 year, but at 7,700, I mean, you can't be too picky. Top 40 in our model. His off the tee game is good, and his birdie or better, he's 16th. Everything else is pretty average. Putting 64th. So his par 5 is not the best, which is unfortunate. But what are you going to expect at 7,700? Straka is somebody who is, I believe he has a pretty good tournament history here. He got an 11th and an 8th here. So it depends on what you want to look at. Yeah. He doesn't rate out well in our model, but just because he doesn't rate out well in our model doesn't mean that's the only thing you can factor in. So he personally, we're recording this Monday night or Sunday night. Wait, Monday night. My days are all messed up. Dad life. 2 kids. He's making my cut tonight. Now, is he gonna make my final build? I would say probably not, but he's making this first initial cut for me. We talked about Stanley. His approach, opportunities gained is top 5. Like Dustin said, he kind of fell apart last week, but got 54th. But he's made the cut the last 5. He hasn't missed the cut since April. So granted, he didn't play in a couple majors, but he's not a good. He's a good play. I'm a Stanley fan. So at 7,600, I'm still a Stanley fan. Is there anybody down low at the low 7K range that interests you? I have Troy Merritt down here.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's great at Birdie Fest. He always seems to do well. So I mean, I think Merritt
got 8th here last year. Well, it was only 2 years. He missed the cut and then got 8th last year. So,
well, that's what you get with Merritt, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how he is. Kind of like Dahlman. Dahlman's another one of those same type of players who, he intrigues me. He's, way down there in the 7K, got 32nd at the Memorial. Has missed 1 cut in his last 6 events. So, yeah.
Let's mention a couple players in the 6K range. Like, you have any interest in our boy Satoshi?
Yeah, he's my favorite. We talked a little about it before the pod. 6,800 rates top 20 in our model, and has been playing great. 11th, 13th, 19th, 36th, his last 4 events. I mean, you're not going to find much better play over the last 4 tournaments in this range from top to bottom. Almost everybody down here is 50-50 on cuts or just about. So I'm going to take the guy that's hot, playing well. If I have to play somebody from down here, I mean, anybody that pops out to you.
The one player I don't want is Nate Lashley, who won here 2 years ago. He's coming in horrible form. When he did win it, the week before at the U.S. Open, he got 28th. He gained 6 strokes on the field, and then The week he won it, he gained 17 strokes. So Nate Lashley might appear somebody you might want to play because he won a couple years ago, but he has bad form, and at 6,900, I just don't want any part of it. Satoshi's a better play, ranked 16th on our model, and Lashley, I believe, let me look up his last couple weeks, is losing 4 strokes last week, and then he did okay at the Charles Schwab 32nd, and then lost 5 strokes, miscut. So not the best form coming in either. And I don't think he's going to be that popular, but it's someone that I'm just going to stay away from.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Maybe the Patrick Rogers made some cuts. His putting's just been awful. Bramlett's one of those we've seen, you know, pop for us every now and then in the showdowns, but he got 7th at the Byron Nelson, missed cut, 7th or 25th at Palmetto, and then missed a cut. So if you follow that short pattern, then he should do okay here this week.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun week. I'm going to try to avoid, like we talked about at the beginning, the 6K range. You want to go check us out at DFS Dads. We had our first look is already out. We're going to have our deep dive on Wednesday and all of our tables filled out of who we're going to play. We take hard stands who we're playing. We're not giving you a table of, you know, me, Dustin, Price's picks, and you don't know what to do, right? So we narrow it down for you exactly who we're going to play. GVP and cash. If you want to play MME, we have our exposures with all of our different players. We have our prop bets. We have our bets. And if you want to figure out who you want to play on your own, read through the deep dive. We give you reasons why. Take all the hours of research out of it for you so you don't have to, and plug and play. So with that being said, let's go make some money this week and go Texas.